Hey guys, to help run the forums, host the website, and travel, we've introduced a universal service fee for in-depth coverage, including this video. My goal is to be unbiased and transparent. It's a privilege to serve you. This is not an endorsement. Let's get into it. Hey guys, we got the Royal Dock in the background off the River Thames. Beautiful location. I'm hanging out here with Ben from Fully Charged in London. Dude, it looks warm. It's a little cold today, a little breezy, so we're doing our best. Also, these bikes, the Desiknios, they're like brand new. These things just got to his shop just a few days ago. I struggled a little bit looking at the Urban single speed a while back. I'm super excited to have the Pinion. I mean, this is like the first one. Super nice bike. Basically the same thing, except it has gears. That was a single speed. Really great for an urban environment where you're going upstairs, you want the lightest possible bike. That thing only weighs 28.9 pounds, which is roughly 13.1 kilograms. Compared to adding the gearbox, this is 34.8 pounds, 15.6 kilograms. I'm doing my best to represent for everyone who uses the metric system. And then we're gonna talk about euros here for a second too, okay? So this one, single speed, is 35.90 euros. That's roughly $4,415. And the Pinion over here, this one is 49.90 euros, $61.35. I'm mentioning dollars because, Ben, you do shipping to the US.
We do indeed.
That's fantastic. And other countries. What's the craziest place you ship to?
I mean, quite a few to Thailand.
Sweet.
But craziest place, Barbados.
Barbados.
That was quite rare.
And people come here with their, you said some people fly in and they're load up their private planes.
Yeah,
man,
exactly,
it's crazy. This bike strikes me as something special because it is just so beautiful. It reminds me of the Faraday bikes. They have the internally mounted battery packs. You do get a lower capacity with that. It's 36 volt, 7 amp hours, roughly 250 watt hours. Apparently they're going to have a bottle mount that you can actually double the battery capacity. I don't see bottle cage bosses on this frame, but I did over on the single speed. So maybe we'll see that in the future with the Pinion ones. You can actually add bosses yourself. Some shops can do that. That was something I noticed was a little bit different. We do have threaded eyelet there on this monocoque full carbon fiber fork, and I believe even the steering post has its carbon as well. I was talking to the founder of this company just yesterday, trying really hard to get all the details. Joaquim is his name, and he's from Granada, Spain.
Exactly, Spain, yeah.
Right? So this is really, really kind of neat to get that insight, talk to one of the founders. The other bike also has bosses here on the seat stays, so apparently there's an adapter for adding a rack or something. And again, I think we're looking at a prototype here, right?
This one is prototype, but that one is actually ready for sale.
So I can't guarantee it for you guys, but I just wanted to highlight, see the bosses there and there. Those are two little things that are slightly different, but to me, this is a very finished, highly refined final product. Compared to a lot of what I see. In the US, sometimes you have crowd-funded bikes that they change a lot, by the time they hit the market. To me, this is almost complete. Love that it's got, in addition to that carbon fiber fork, this is a tapered head tube, so you could put a loft suspension on this thing if you wanted. Wouldn't that be sick? Carbon fiber, keep it really light, give yourself a little bit of support, for your wrists and stuff if you're riding over cobblestones. Also 31.6 millimeters on the seat posts here. You could swap that out for a suspension seat post, a thud buster, a body float now called Connect. But these touch points are also pretty nice. Brooks, genuine leather saddle. They've got the little eyelets here for hanging a bag. Brooks, locking leather grips. And then we've got that Pinion grip shifter. 6 speeds on this thing, and I think it's 295% gear ratio. They also offer a 12-speed Pinion, weighs maybe 100 grams more, and that thing is 560 degrees. This is compared to the new Vinci. They have the N360 and N380.
Yeah.
So 360 versus almost 300. This gives you a great range. And it's just so light, and it frees up that rear wheel for a hub motor. Hub motors aren't quite as efficient as mid-drives. Mid-drives require a custom frame, which we already have here because that Pinion. But these tend to be really quiet and really kind of hidden in this case. It just hides behind that sprocket in the rear, and then we've got a 45 or 46 tooth belt ring up front using the Gates carbon drive. This is CDX, so see there's a channel in the middle, so it's not going to flop off easily. It's clean, super quiet. Both of these bikes are super quiet. And then there's room here. I was talking to, who is that at your shop? The tech? Carlos, really great guy. We were looking at this bike and he's like, man, they've got like a floating dropouts here so you can tighten up the belts. It even looks like there's space here next to the motor for a cassette. Those were his words. I don't think this is, I mean, you'd have to take off the Gates setup, but it did strike me as unique. And I guess it's e-bike motion that makes these motors, and then also the battery. And you can see the battery, it's actually removable. I guess in this case you'd have to completely remove the pinion. Can you pop a wheelie with it, like pull that up? I just want to see the bottom bracket. Yeah, look at this. So that's, you take off the little bolts right there, and then the battery can come out, so you can actually take that out to do a replacement or service, but it's not the kind of thing that's designed to come out easily for charging off the bike. You do have to plug right in here. If you were, you know, plugging this in and then you move these crank arms, you could kind of snag that cable. I feel like it's mostly out of the way, but you want to make sure that cap is in so water and dust don't get in. Also, because these are so light, you can take the whole bike inside, so you're protecting the frame rather than here in London, you know, it gets rainy and stuff. You can bring it inside, maybe wipe it down with a rag.
No grease on the old belt drive as well.
No grease, yeah, it's a clean setup. It's trade-offs though, because then you're bringing something that's kind of wet and messy inside every time. You know, the battery on my camera right now is running a little bit low, in part because it is cold, right? You want to keep lithium-ion batteries away from extreme cold and extreme heat. So I like how easy, I mean, you can just lift this thing right up. You can put it on car racks, bus racks very easily. Same thing, only 5 pounds more, and you've got gears. And for me, as someone with sensitive knees, like the gears are a really big deal. Yeah, there we go. That's exactly what's coming to mind, carrying that thing around. Look at him trotting along. This is beautiful. And then the tires are slightly different. Okay, so we're looking at the what is this, 700 by 42C, that's 28 by 1.6, kind of a gravel grinder. It's got this soft tread all the way around, really premium. We come over here to the Schwalbe Fat Franks. These have K-guard, so puncture protective lining. Those have some sort of safety, something. They're e-bike rated. They might also have puncture protection, but these definitely do. Schwalbe does a great job. Reflective sidewall stripes, gotta love that. They even sell Supernova lights that can be integrated into this setup and run off the main battery. That's awesome for me. And I love this color. I cannot say for sure what the other colors on this one are, but this one comes in blue, red, and black. Magic black. And this one's got this.
Finishes as well.
Are they all kind of like this satin matte finish?
The classic models are finished in gloss, whereas the urban models are finished in matte. But you can have any color you want for £250 extra.
Oh, thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, these guys, like I'm saying, it's very custom. There's just something special about these bikes, I feel, and being able to talk to the founder like that. 160 millimeter hydraulic disc brakes on this one. A little bit of an upgrade maybe. This is Shimano Deore Lx. You can see it right there. Nice, again, through axle. I really want to highlight the cabling on this bike. Not only is it internally routed to stay super clean, but in the back, the power cable for the motor is tucked between the dropout and the disc brake, so it's right there versus coming out the side. A lot of times on hub motors it comes out the right side, and if the bike tips, you bend that cable, the motor eventually breaks, and that's a bummer. Other upgrades, I love the black spokes. I love the black motor casing, the black rims, a little bit deeper here with reinforcement eyelets, a little bit stronger so they won't split. Just beautiful all the way around. And I'm looking at these Pinion branded cranks, 175 millimeters, so a little bit longer than I'm used to seeing. And I'm not measuring this here, but you do have decent ground clearance, but you don't want to scrape that if you're turning corners. I think part of the reason the ground clearance is higher is because these are 28-inch wheels. They're a little bit larger. Sometimes on mountain bikes you have 27 or 26, right? So Desiknio, we got that nice little branding. This is custom tubing, really smooth welds, just a lot of beautiful. Even right here, there's the sticker to keep the cables from rubbing on the frame. A little bit of a lower bar position here. 3 5mm spacers. Looks like this is a 6-degree rise, and it's flipped, the stem. I like the silver, relatively flat bar, but does have a little bit of an angle to it. Same thing over here on the Urban, maybe a little bit wider on this bar. Again, I've got all the specs back at the website that I've measured. Camera's running low on batteries, so I'm just gonna hop on this thing and take a little ride. There is a Bluetooth app, which is great. You can get a little bit more feedback, because otherwise you just have this button. The thing I'm complaining about though is there's no USB port here to plug in. You can wire in lights, but you can't wire in your phone. So ideally it would be mounted right here, give you some feedback about some feedback about speed, about range, some of that sort of stuff that you just don't get with the simple interface. But again, this is less attractive to maybe thieves, or less liable to get scratched at a rack or glare up in your face. So to turn the bike on, you just press this button down, kind of blinks on, and then goes to green. Green means the lowest level of pedal assist. If you double tap it, goes to yellow, that's the next level. Double tap it again, it goes to red, or it should go to red. It kind of skipped over there for a second. There we go. So it seems like you could do 1, 2, 3, and then it goes to red. I've been mostly testing with the highest level of assist to give you some idea of how the motor sounds. It is 250 watts. In the US, that's kind of like the starting point, but in certain parts of Europe, that's the maximum allowable limit. Still pretty zippy. If you imagine someone who's a long-distance cyclist, your body pedaling the whole time is putting out 200 to 250 watts continuous. So this is a nice boost. And again, for being so lightweight, you have to sacrifice somewhere. And I think that this motor is a good fit for this particular frame. And it's also just quiet, right? So coming back to this interface, you do have to look down, take your hand off the grip to interface with this a little bit, but I just sort of set it and forget it. And at this point, I'm gonna hop on. You can shift gears at standstill, which is nice. And I've noticed that I tend to kind of ease off the pedals when I'm shifting gears, otherwise this gets pretty difficult to do. But I like to start with the lower gears, and I tend to enjoy spinning faster. So there we go. I just move, and now I don't even really have to pedal at the correct speed. As long as I'm moving a little bit, it uses that cadence sensor, right? So there's those 20 magnets in there that drop out at the rear at the hub, passing 2 Hall sensors is what I was told. Very stable, and also pretty quiet when riding on bumpy stuff. I think that carbon fork is helping with those tires. Not bad at all. Woo. Well guys, I'm gonna put a frame camera on the bike in a second and get you some close-up shots. Try to give you a little bit better idea. With the wind, it's sort of tough. Hopefully you can hear the motor. Okay guys, from here you can see the belt. You can listen to it, not a lot to hear, but hopefully you get an idea of how quickly that motor starts and stops. Listen for the buzzing. I am going to ride in red, the highest level of assist again, and it just really feels like, yeah, I can see back here there's the little magnets on a little disc, and they pass this 2 Hall sensor. So 20 magnets, that's a lot. That's high precision. Usually at the bottom bracket area there's like a 12 magnet sensor or something a little simpler. And again, on some of the mid-drive motors, they're even more advanced, where they're measuring wheel speed, cadence, and torque. This one's, it's just cadence, but it feels, yeah, it's just a more dynamic way of doing that. Love that pinion. buddy. Thank you for braving the cold with me. I thought it would be cool to swap bikes and just give a third-person perspective on this thing.
Yeah.
Yep, for that. Beautiful. You shift some gears. A much slower cadence over there than I have with the single speed, because he's in a higher gear. Want to swap me sides real quick?
Sure.
Yeah. Fantastic. It's a sweet one, man. I'm really excited for you guys, and I appreciate the opportunity to kind of get an exclusive on this and get some behind the scenes. For the full write-up with all the details on both of these bikes, I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com. Have fun out there, stay warm, and ride safe. Hey guys, we're inside at the London Bike Show. We're checking out the Pinion and ran into a friend named Jordan from Sick Bicycles. You guys, you know all about this this sort of gearbox, and you've got some of your bikes over here with it. Do you want to just walk with me and tell me about it?
It was interesting seeing the Pinion for the first time on like a kind of on a city bike, because we knew that this gearbox was originally designed for it.
Yeah.
But they sell a much more hardcore version of it. But this one is actually we have a standard BB here. This is the C112 version of it, so that's a 12-speed.
Which they do offer actually over on the Cobeg, which is kind of neat.
And I think that you could use it if you've ever got to carry panniers and stuff like that, and you want the extended range. I think it's about 560% range, so it's bigger even than SRAM Eagle. We started using this as an option on our frames because simplicity and reliability, and I think I love new tech.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't stand by something that's not going to be good quality, and
especially for a downhill application, like the toughness and stuff.
Definitely keeping everything together. And we were chatting earlier about riding being pretty zen, and not having a derailleur and all of the gears kind of outwardly on the bike, all making noise,
the
or
chain slapping, falling off. Yeah.
This is absolutely silent, and there's something kind of almost jarring the first time you use it. It's completely and utterly silent. It's easy to use. It's intuitive, and more than anything, servicing it, you kind of put the oil in, and then you take the oil out, like a gearbox in your car at home, and that's kind of it.
How often? What do you recommend? I mean, you're on downhill applications,
so we actually don't ride as much as like a commuter would ride a lot more. But I think they said something like 50,000 miles.
Wow,
that's a lot of mileage. We were talking with Pinion, and we were saying in realistic terms, will someone actually ever wear it out in average riding? And they said, probably not.
Oh, okay, wow.
They'd be interested to see actually see something that goes through that amount of use as well.
Well, and the weight thing. So in this case, it's unsprung. Well, this is sprung weight versus like a new Vinci or even the roll-off, because that's another.
And most important thing is it's really, really simple. It's like, does it have any drawbacks? If you're in the top 1% and absolutely 100% power transfer is important, it might not be for you. If you don't get on with grip shift systems, it might not be for you. However, everyone has an opinion about grip shift on Pinion, but when it actually comes to the point where people own the system, you never hear them complain about it. And I think that's because people are used to using grip shift with a derailleur, where it doesn't work very well.
Yeah.
Because it's not intuitive. Whereas on a gearbox where you can go from gear 1 to gear 18 if you like.
Right.
You couldn't really do on a trigger shift. And we had a guy earlier, and he guides in the Alps, and he was saying one of the big problems he has is after days and days and days of fatigue, it's actually pretty hard to shift gears on a trigger shift. With grip shift, it's always easy for him when he's fatigued. So we've got that. More than anything, the first thing that attracted us to Pinion, really, apart from lack of maintenance, was the fact that all the weight is down here.
Yeah.
Now, when I first talked to the guys at Fully Charged, we were in Peasley. It was in Peasley. I was really excited. Tim was going out for a ride with us, and he took one of your bikes off and ditched us. And me and Dan
chucked
went out,
it.
Dan, we were gone. Me and Dan went out riding for the rest of the day, and Tim was like off on it. We left
him in the dust.
It was a downhill bike, and it was like, bye. And he said for the first time, he was like, I kind of like the electric aspect of it. It's super fun. It's like, but more than anything, all of the weight being down between where your feet are in the cranks.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a new experience. And it's like, it's way better on descents. So
This is so unique. Jordan, it's been a real pleasure.
Great.
Thank you for going deep on this with
No
us,
problem at
because
all.
you know, we see this new technology.
So when is Sick Bicycle's first e-bike?
I think we're a long way off doing one, and it's not because I'm against it. I think I want to do it really well, and I find a lot of the people, the manufacturers that have rushed to it, have like they've dropped the ball on it. They've bolted existing technology onto it. Like, I think it needs to be integrated. It needs to be integrated well. Made in LeCoin. These guys, and they make all the production Privé prototype stuff. They made the Shimano 05. They posted something the other day that they've CNC'd out of aluminium, this giant, subframe that can only be for an e-bike. The direction they're going is where it should be going. And I will wait and see what they do, and I'll contact them and see how they're doing their development before we make a move.
Cool.
If you'd asked Tim, he'd have an e-bike ready already. Because
Well, do it right, man. I can tell you're doing a great job, and again, it's nice to stumble in and meet people with that great insight. So thank you, Jordan.
Good to meet you guys.
Yeah, have a great show.
Enjoy the rest of
What's your website?
It's sickbicycle.co. Not co.uk, not .com, just .co.
Just .co. Sweet.
See you next
See you next time.
Bye.